I'm not sure who it is, but there's the most beautiful black Evo 6 or 6.5 behind me, and it's gorgeous. Look at that thing. Oh, it's beautiful. That's a nice car. So as you can tell, at the junkyard yet again. So yesterday, an opportunity presented itself. A car that I've been wanting to get to for over a year now finally became accessible, which is this one right there. Full 12 valve VR6 swap out of a Mark IV, which we're gonna try and pull today. The weather's kind of crappy, it's been raining off and on, so we'll see how well this goes, pulling an engine outside in the possible rain. But I brought all my tools, hopefully it goes smoothly, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring it home today exactly, but we're gonna do our best to get it out of there at least. So as you can see, I parked the car very close. I put all of my tools in the back of the wagon here, so I plan to just work from right here and go back and forth. But this is it. There she is, boys. Hopefully coming out of here today. This is a American spec Jetta, not a Bora, and this is an AFP Mark IV 12 valve VR6. The engine's here, the full trans is here, the shifter box is here. I believe Marvin already has the ECU, but other than that, it looks like everything is intact. The engine actually looks fairly clean. Let's get pulling. So the process for, I've never actually pulled a Mark IV engine before, but the process looks exactly the same as a Mark III. Pull the front end off, disconnect everything through here, and then work your way around, and then eventually have the engine out. So let's get it. First up, the entire rat support and front rebar is now off. This one's broken, but the one on my car is exactly the same, so I shouldn't need this one off this car. This car is actually a little different than a Mark III, because this would come off with a Mark III, but actually it kind of comes completely apart like that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the hoses off and pull the condenser and the radiator off and keep working our way back. So one thing I'm noticing, it looks like between like the VR6 and my 1.6, it looks like everything is kind of at least routed the exact same way, so I shouldn't need any of this stuff. Maybe these longer fuel lines, possibly, because mine hooks up over here, but for the most part, it looks the same. Like going from a Mark III 2.0 to a Mark III VR6, you have to swap radiators because it mounts up from different sides, but this one is the exact same radiator as in my car, so I shouldn't have to swap any of this stuff. I can keep my condenser, keep my radiator, and it's just basically the engine and trans that I'm swapping. Everything else looks to be in the exact same spot and all routed the same way. So if we look in here, all the stuff is in the same spot over here. My fuel lines go to over here, but these might reach to up here for the VR6, but if not, that's an easy swap. But all of this looks like it's in the exact same spot. The radiator is the exact same, my condenser, so mine's all good and intact, so I'll just keep this. The mounts are the same. We should be in good shape. All right, so good progress has been made so far. It's quite cold, it keeps raining off and on, which is super annoying, but we've got obviously the radiator and condenser out of the way. Our power steering lines down here are almost off. I got the first one off. I need to get this one here off out of the way. Most of these hoses are undone. This one's undone. Our AC lines are off. This one here is off. Our fuel lines are off. This thing is off. So for the most part, almost everything on this side besides this hose down here for the bottom of the coolant reservoir. And after that one's off, almost everything on this side of the engine bay and the front section is all off. I'm gonna try and keep as many of these little hoses. There's so many little hoses on this thing. I'm gonna try and keep as many of these little hoses on the engine itself and just not mix up or lose them. I'm not sure which one I need and which one I'm not gonna need. So I'm gonna keep as most with the engine as possible. The harness comes in right here and goes right to here. I gotta find out where the main plug-in is, and I gotta see how much stuff on here actually needs to be unplugged and what I can actually leave. So I'm trying to just go through and just decipher what all this stuff is. But shift linkage is off, as you can see. That's off and out of the way. And then once I get all of that done, the engine's actually separated from the harness. I have to do the header, the axles, and then the mounts. But I'm gonna need him to use the forklift probably. And I wanna lift the entire car up and set it on some tires so the car's up and out of the way, that I can get underneath the car. But then after that, not too bad. So it may be out today, it might not be. Like I said, it's starting to rain again right now and it's quite cold, so if the weather holds up, we'll try and do the entire thing today. If not, no big deal. All right, continue progress. All of this down here is out of the way. I've got some of these harness lines coming through off. I'm still trying to find out where this harness actually plugs in. It goes all the way over to this side and goes down to that side. There's not like a main plug-in I don't quite see. I'm gonna unplug these two right here, and then a few off the start, it looks like. Then hopefully I can separate the wiring from the actual engine of the car. All this is off from this side. I still have the one hose in the bottom down here on the bottom of the quart reservoir. But after that, this whole section should be free. And as you can see, we've got the car up on some tires now, so now I can go through, get to the axles, get to the shift box, all that kind of fun stuff. But we're almost there, kind of. I've gone ahead and closed everything up. We're actually going to go jam real fast to base, which means we get to ride in the Skyline. Ooh, my car's sounding good. Okay, I'm ready. But I'm taking it though. I will see you later. I gotta go ahead and close this. Ooh. One day, boys. Just feels right at home. Yeah. This just feels right. I need one. So he's having issue with a misfire, and I guess it's his harness. And once he wiggles it, it's fine. So it should be good now, you think?
Maybe. Probably gonna pull it apart and look at it.
Yeah. So last time we rode in this car is at what, 14 or so pounds, you said?
1 bar.
1 bar. What are we at now?
1.4.
1.4.
And I want to go higher.
What's 1.4 in terms of actual PSI? Like
20 pounds.
20? Nice. If it doesn't break up.
Hopefully
not. Oh wow, that pulls way harder. Dang. Yeah, that pulls way harder. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but second gear, it was spinning. Third gear, it was spinning. Yeah, that's nice. And you want to go more still?
Yes.
Yeah, full send.
I got the itch.
It didn't feel any breaking up though, smooth.
Yeah, no, luckily it didn't that time.
I need a turbo and an R33 and a lot more money. A lot more money. It just doesn't get old. You could stop and go 150 times. I would never get tired of that feeling or that sound.
I did it like 4 times last night.
Yeah, I would do it over and over and over until I broke my car. Then I would fix it and then just do it again because it just sounds so good. It's just such a good car. It's just such a good car. It looks beautiful. It makes all the good sounds. I need one. We got us an Evo in the yard. Shoot.
Oh shit, where is that?
I was just saying I wanted an Evo, and here's an Evo. Look at that. We got the 5-speed, the crank windows for lightweight power. Look at that. Oh, just don't look at that. Oh, just don't look at this entire. You know what? It's fine. Just don't look at this side at all. Look at that. I think this would be like an Evo. What? Well, it's not always on an Evo, but like a Lancer 3, I think. Kind of cool. Look, he's got temp plates on his twin turbo Subaru. Let me hop in the back. I love my back seats that recline. Oh my God, what is this?
Other side.
No.
Other side.
This car was so clean.
It was.
What happened?
We did speakers and I ate food.
Oh, no, you know what? I gotta go actually. All right, going for our first ride in the twin turbo Subaru Legacy. All right, let me feel this twin turbo power. It's not bad. Not bad. It pulls pretty good. We need a lot more sounds out of this car. So if you don't know, this is a 2-liter, right?
Yep.
2-liter twin turbo boxer engine, making 260 or so. Actually, to the wheels, I'm not sure, but
about 220 wheel probably.
it's a cool car. I quite like it. It's comfy. So once you get a nice exhaust in this thing and make it loud, it's gonna be really awesome. I'm ready, sir. You can hear it, come on.
Yep, you can feel it too right there.
Yeah.
Good thing is when it shifts, when you're full throttle, it stays on the second turbo. So it's on second turbo boost.
Dude, this car actually pulled, like, I'm sure on camera there's no crazy sounds and like exhaust kind of stuff, but this car actually pulls pretty decent and it pulls hard all the way. I mean, we probably could hit 180 and probably max it out pretty easily, but this car pulls really nicely and you can feel where it goes from the first turbo to the second turbo, which is pretty cool.
We hit 160 right there.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was just cruising along. This thing's super comfy.
Mm-hmm.
Exhaust, yeah, I think they're good.
Oh yeah, we get them boxer sounds.
Exactly. Well, got some snacks, got to ride some cool JDM cars. I guess we'll go back to working on this thing. All right, this weather's absolute trash. It's been raining for the past, I don't know, like 30 or so minutes, but I think at this point, almost there. So I've got the harness in this section disconnected, so this is all free. That's off. All of this stuff is down here is off. This is all good. That's out of the way. So at this point, it should just be the, well, I have the two heater hoses here. It should be the header bolts down there and the axles. And I detached the cable here to the clutch. But after that, I'm pretty sure that's all it is. But we won't finish it today. They're gonna close in about 30 or so minutes, and the rain really sucks. All right, I've loosely put the car back together. We'll come back probably tomorrow. Hopefully the weather's better and we'll get it finished up. Right now the rain is just, it's super annoying. This weather is trash. I hate this rain. So hopefully the weather tomorrow is a lot better. We can finish up the last few things. It's just axles, the exhaust header bolts, and a few hoses here and there, but very simple. So pending weather, we should have it out tomorrow. So our friend Harrison's here. So Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV, Mark IV, and Mark IV. There's way too many Mark IVs in this house. So today I picked up a new battery here for the V5, so I can stop pulling the one out of my wagon and just leave this battery in this car. And then we also got some polishing compound and then some actual wax here. So we've already done the rubbing compound on this side here. I'll have to go back when everything's done. We'll go back with the polishing compound and then the actual wax here. And this bay is gonna shine like no other. So the process for today, this side is pretty much done until right there. I'm gonna try and go through and get the rest of the rain tray done today and hopefully get some of this side done as well. It's a long process, a very slow process, but with this being the outcome, it's definitely worth it. Give you guys a quick before look before I go ahead and start getting all this nasty stuff out of here. Something I noticed that's pretty cool. So you can see I've already got a lot of it out of the way so far, but if you look right here, this section looks raised up, and I thought they just had like, it laid weird or there's something underneath it, but actually, so they laid this like wax stuff and they painted over the wax as well. So this stuff right here, look at it, this comes up. And then there's paint underneath that as well. So this is that, where that wax petroleum stuff is, and they actually painted that as well, so you would still see the nice color above the actual paint. But all this right here comes off like that, and then boom, more fresh paint. How cool is that? We are making lots and lots of good progress. I just hit it with some cleaner and let it sit for a second. I'm gonna get this little brush, go through and agitate some sections back in here, and then I'll rinse it off, and then hopefully all the dirt will be out of the way. Then we can go through and get our rubbing compound, go through all that, buff it out, and then after all that's done, try our polishing compound maybe today as well. We'll see. Be clean. I want my nice paint back, please. This stuff's actually doing a great job getting that last little bit of dirt off there. The bay's looking more and more uniform. Obviously this side's a lot more glossy. We actually compounded that side, but this side looking way better so far, so not bad. For our first round, I'm just scraping off some of the wax stuff and going through with some cleaner. There's still obviously more to get, but it's looking much better. Now this side has a lot of kind of staining here. I don't know if it's gonna come off or not. It might, but keep in mind there will be a coolant ball on this mount here and the windshield washer reservoir, wherever I put that. Somewhere back in here. Did I lose it? Oh, there it is. This will be paint matched, and this will be sitting right here, so you won't see any of that texture stuff down there, and you won't see a lot of the stuff in the corner. So there is some like crazy texture back there, but this will be in the way of that, and then there'll be a coolant ball there. So for the most part, you only see down the rail and some of the tires. So before I go ahead and bust out the compound and do this side over here, I went through and sprayed some more cleaner on the inside of the rail and the entire back side of the firewall. I'm gonna go through and clean all that first, and then try and get all of this done today. I went through on this side over here and I cleaned this side of the rail. There's still a few spots where I have to go get the wax off, but just for a quick clean, the paint came out super nice. So very excited. Hopefully have the entire thing done today and everything looking like that. It looks like we painted the bay. It's crazy. And now we wait just a minute, and then we'll go back through and rinse it all off. Also keep in mind, a lot of these spots back here you're not gonna see. There'll be a big heat shield right here. You won't see any of that spot. The brake booster there, the slave cylinder, a lot of this on the back for the firewall, we're not gonna see, but still, I wanted it to be clean nonetheless. It's pretty crazy what a simple wipe down will do. So now all we need to do left is go through with the compound and do all of this section and the rest of the firewall, and hopefully have everything looking just like that. But at this point, The bay is actually looking pretty uniform. And then hopefully after this last pass, it's all gonna be nice and glossy like that. All right, so to my excitement, it actually looks like all this discoloration through here is actually gonna come off. I've been scraping some of it off right here. I wasn't sure if it was gonna come off or not, but it looks like it actually will. I also saw a bunch of you recommended using a heat gun to get some of this stuff out of here. So I'm gonna try a heat gun and heat some of this up and see if it makes it come off a little bit easier. But hopefully I can get all of this and all of this kind of like yellowish color out of here, and we'll have nothing but a nice car left. Slow progress, but progress nonetheless. All of the yellowing in this side is pretty much gone, and I'm working on this section now. What I'm doing is just using the heat gun and getting it nice and hot and using my scraper and kind of just pushing it very slow out of the way. This section is kind of hard because all of this is the seam sealer and it's very soft, so I can't really heat up this too much, and if I press it too hard, it's actually going to scrape that off, and there's no paint underneath that. So I'd be very, very careful going through here. I decided to go through the cleaner one more time because trying to pick all the dirt out of all these little grooves was getting really on my nerves. So I went through, got the brush out, really put in some elbow grease to all here and all there. So hopefully once I rinse it off, all that last little bit of dirt that was in there is completely gone. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now she's ready for some compound. Also, quick side note, I was talking to my good buddy Albert, and he sent me this list here of all the places where the Mark IIIs were made, and you could tell by the VIN number here. And he was saying that my car looks like it's from Wolfsburg due to the amount of seam sealer that's down here. And I checked the VIN, so my 11th one right there you can see is a W, right there, RW3. And if you look inside here and go down to W, bam, Wolfsburg, Germany. So my little Savoy from the Junkyard was built at the Wolfsburg factory. How awesome is that? I also went ahead and checked Miley's VIN, and the 11th number on that one is an M, and that is Mexico, which I already knew that for that car. But how cool is it? This little car came from the Wolfsburg factory. So, so cool. Now, I honestly don't know if all Mark IIIs in Germany were made at the Wolfsburg factory, but what I do know is this one was made there. That's all I care about. It wasn't a goal before, but it definitely is a goal now. At some point, we have to drive the Savoy back to Wolfsburg, because how full circle would that be? For that car to be built in Wolfsburg, end up in a junkyard like 4.5 hours away, be rebuilt, and drive all the way back. That would just be so cool. So for sure, before I leave Germany, we will drive the Savoy back to Wolfsburg. Okay, at this point, I would say the engine bay is 95% completed. I just want to go back with the polishing compound and the actual wax. But in terms of the rubbing compound, we've done the entire engine bay, both sides, and the firewall. And it looks so, so good. Look at this engine bay. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again, but this paint is from '94. And it looks like we just sprayed this thing, and it looks ridiculous. Like, the shine is out of control. All the firewall is done, nice and shiny, and all of that side as well. And keep in mind, like all this stuff, you won't see this stuff here. There'll be a reservoir there, a coolant ball here, some harness stuff through here, probably an intake on this section, and you won't see it there. But the spots that you are gonna see, it's gonna be shiny, and it's gonna look ridiculous, because look at the shine. I can't believe it. Let's say we still have to go back with the actual polishing compound and then the wax on top of that, so the shine's gonna pop even more than it already is. But just to stand back and look at this, like, worth it. My arm's tired, but this was worth it. I know some people want me to go through and actually like shave all the sealer and paint the bay, which will be cool, don't get me wrong, but to see this paint and it's factory paint in the bay, like, this is just cool. The story behind this to me is just so, so awesome. So it's gonna stay as is, and I couldn't be happier with it. Just wanted to do one final little mock-up. Got a few more things in place. Fenders are back here so you can see how nice the color matches all the way through. Have the reservoirs in place. Like I said, either paint match for these or done in wrinkle black. Haven't decided just yet, but you can see the areas that it covers, so you really don't see much of that texture over there, which is nice. Rain trays in. It's just cool to kind of see this car, like, not together, but with more pieces back on it. It looks so, so cool. Now this side over here will be mostly open all the way down. We'll have the one AC line running down, the fuel lines up here, and then the catch can right here. And then you'll have the headlight and a little bit of harness right there. So this section should all be open. And then over here we'll have some parts of the harness, but for the most part, this section will all be open as well. And all right there, we'll have the brake booster there. Now the brake booster, I think I want to paint match the brake booster to this color. But overall, like, with the fenders on and a few things in place, it looks so cool. I cannot wait to see the V5 sitting in there. It's going to be epic. That'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget, be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.